I mean, I know it's kind of a nominal thing, but it was Nate's first start. How do you think he just kind of handled it? How do you think he graded out?
He played well and performed well, and I thought he handled the first start well. He's still, since he's been here, he's been a kid that's really never has been rattled, by any situation, which I think is a great quality for a quarterback, and something we need to see continue.
And that's in that sense. I mean, was it really any different for him that he was starting as opposed to being a guy who kind
Not really. Meaning we didn't handle it any differently. No. I don't know if he thought any differently, but I thought he played pretty well.
I guess just kind of the body of work he's put together through the first quarter of the season. I mean, what's kind of the next step for him? It seems like he's gotten to a point where he is kind of consistent just in terms of accuracy and getting the ball moving.
I think the next step, like you just said, is that word consistent. We need to see him do it every single week to be a top-level quarterback. And he has the ability to do that, and as long as he continues to focus and prepare each week, I'm sure he'll do fine.
Coach Wilson talked a little about Trey maybe pressing a little bit. Are you seeing that basically, and what's that?
A little bit. Just trying too hard. When you get in a competition and you come up a little bit short, I think that's human nature to try a little harder, to do better. And sometimes you force a throw you shouldn't. Sometimes you squeeze the ball a little bit too tight. And so when he just relaxes and plays, he's fine.
You guys had him in a goal line situation, but whatever defensive coordinators in the future might think about playing you guys, he could do more than that, obviously. Is that the kind of thing that you hope to feature him in packages that are a bit more varied?
Would love to. Yeah, I don't think that we ever want to be in a situation where he's only running. And even though he can run, we all know he can pass. I mean, the kid can throw the ball. And once again, in our world, Sudfeld just throws it a little better. It's not that Trey can't do it. So, yeah, for sure, we don't want to become one-dimensional with Trey at all, and I don't think that we will. But certainly we'd love to be able to use both.
And you don't want to be one-dimensional with Nate either.
Correct. And I don't think that we have. I think we ran some cute quarterback draws and some read zone plays and let Nate go out and make some plays.
His mobility, I guess, I know it's not what he's known for, but it seems like he's been comfortable picking up yards when they're there and things break down. I mean, is that, you talked about that as kind of an area of growth for him in the spring. I mean, is he kind of getting to that point where you want, or maybe he's not a dual threat guy, obviously, but he's willing to take off when he's got 8-10 yards of real estate?
And we're talking Sudfeld?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And if you ask him, he takes a lot of pride in his quick feet, and his footwork, and his ability to run. Again, I don't know that he'll win a 100-yard dash. But I think that he can certainly outrun guys and you pick up 8 to 10 yards. So yeah, for him, he takes a lot of pride in that because he's getting labeled as only a thrower. So he wants to be able to run as well.
Those long strides, right?
Correct. But again, and if you watch his feet, he's got really quick feet. He does a great job maneuvering in the pocket, and that allows him to get out of pressure.
Saturday, you guys, early on, the running game, kind of wasn't getting going, and then you guys kept at it, and by the second half, you really busted open some huge runs. How important is it, obviously, to stick with it, especially this week against Team
right. And I think too, with our offense, we try to use tempo to our advantage. And early on, and the runs may not be there for maybe just 1 or 2 yards, but as the game goes on, as you go fast and you wear out a defensive line, a lot of times you can soften them up and continue to slam the ball in there. So for us, I know Coach Wilson has used this word before of balance, that we need to remain balanced, and that helps Sudfeld and Trey, whoever's playing quarterback.
Another thing Coach Wilson said yesterday was, in terms of balancing the field, not just stretching it vertically but horizontally. You guys went wide a lot the other day, and one thing that I noticed is that some of the young guards like Jake Reed and Kaminsky were kind of pulling and coming out and getting people. How did that look?
Really well. I think that's an athletic group up there, and even though maybe a little bit more inexperienced, they're very athletic, and that's something that we need to use to our advantage.
I guess it felt like guys were maybe taking advantage of holes for explosive plays in the run game more Saturday than maybe they would have a year ago. I mean, is that kind of the growth you're seeing in the run game overall?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think Saturday was just a good example of our tempo. And again, being able to wear guys down and some seams opening up. I don't know if it's been any more or less of a point of emphasis, but they were there on Saturday.
They kind of arrived at Indiana in sort of an unusual fashion, unusual recruiting. You think of any instances when he first got here, seeing him practice or in the spring, it's like, he might be better than we thought, or we didn't exactly know what we had here.
A little bit. I think that he's grown up maybe faster than we had expected. I don't know that we maybe were anticipating him coming in and playing as early as he has, or maybe even at as high of a level that he's playing right now. So he has been a pleasant surprise, and one that we're glad that we have him, and for a couple more years, and hopefully he can continue to play at a high level. Awesome. Thanks guys. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Coach.